Hello, welcome, dear creative, messy friends. Super happy to be here in Messy May, and I think I am guiding you through day number 18, where I talk about page extensions. When I bind journals, I bind my journals and I don't correct immediately the length, or let's say the width of the pages. I keep my pages as I have place them in the journal, because sometimes I like to journal from left to right in a long way. So I fold the pages when I complete the binding and I take care of it later, because maybe I want to use a small page and I might cut this part and use it as a collage, or I might use the whole length of these three parts of pages to journal on. Now, with the page extensions, what do I mean? It happens sometimes that I bind a journal and that I use a part of a page that is way too small. And then instead of building or shortening a page or cutting it to a smaller size, sometimes I have to build out a page. And I have another page where I used a small tab here, way too small, and later on I don't journal on this small side anymore. I add pages or I will add pieces of collages to make the page longer. Let me show you what I mean with that. I'm gonna guide you through one of my journals. I have made a few marks to give you an idea and not to lose too much time. I like to give as much information as possible in the least possible time in the video. So my first journal, I think it's from May 2017 that I started this little journal. And what do I mean with page extensions? You can call it a little tab, but I have here a small page where I want to make it easy to flick through the journal, because after a while, when my journals are laying in my library or in my studio, sometimes they tend to get a little bit sticky. And with a little tab or a little extension on the page, it's easier to go through the journal. A little extension here. Or, let me see, where is the next one? A little Denison. And another little page extension. And it all started in the past when I was doing a kind of scrapbooking, and where in the scrapbook store you could buy these little additions of flowers. I think I've never even used it, because I prefer to make my own original tags and with my own background papers. So a few more that I want to show you before I guide you through 2018, here the journal. Again, a little tab on the page, or little notes that I buy on flea markets. I glue on both sides of the page. I flick it even under the sewing machine, because when the journal is that small, it's easy to slide it under the sewing machine. Another little tab with transfer paper. And again, through the sewing machine. This part is easier because it's longer, so you can easily slide it through the machine. And another one, a little tab. I have a few more. Again, a little one. Just a little square paper that I love so much. So, this said, let me take you also through, generally when I start a new little pocket journal, I leave the pages as they are, and I have small, probably I will add a little, or I will add a little extension here on the page. Generally, I wait till I have filled up my whole journal before I add extensions, because I don't like extension sewn on or glued on while I have not done the journaling, because I like my extensions to be totally different. And as you can see, I work in different journals at the same time. I have not done a lot of journaling on these pages, but this is a jelly print page that I'm not planning to change. I have added a little tag from vintage ledger paper. a little circle, and I think I might leave it like that. A shorter page, I've added a tab, few squares, and I'm gonna show you right now how I make those additions. My toys. I absolutely love these little paper cutters, tab cutters, and there are 4 pieces that you can cut here, a bigger tab here. They are from Artemio, they're very old, and I have all different kind of shapes. Now, do you need these? You can also cut yourself the size that you want to have. You can cut a square, you can cut a circle, but I am lazy and I want to go fast. So I'm using these cutters also. A quick side note, nothing to do with page extensions, but I'm using these paper cutters to make my own stencils, to make my color charts in my aquarelle, in my watercolor books. And these are the cutouts that I paint later on to use as page extensions. I often add the extensions or the tabs or the additions with staplers, and I have green metal staplers, red metal staples, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am addicted to color explosions in my journal. The latest little pocket journal that I have just completed finishing April 23, and I started April 22. They go slow because I work in several journals at the same time. I started already to make one little extension here. I'm not going wild with those extensions, but here and there I will say, yes, okay, let's make an extension, for example, here. So let me just take some handwritten scripts and a little circle. And you know already what will come out of it. Now I'm not gonna take only the number 25. Let me take another number and let me glue it on or staple it on. You can go large, you can go smaller, and sometimes when I finish a journal, I can be busy a whole afternoon adding those little extensions, and it's not that I place a lot of them, but yeah, sometimes I go wild. Now, they tend to slide off because this is a waxy paper, so let me take a stapler. No, I want a red stapler so that it comes out a little bit more. Voila! So let me see what I want to do next. I might do something here to have a pop-up of color, or I like to have these extensions also. So my background paper, and I will cut immediately two tabs, and I think I will glue the pink here so that it comes out, that it pops. Now what I'm doing is nothing new at all. This is existing since long. I used to buy these little tabs. I prefer now to make them myself. I work exclusively with paints and I want the touch in my journals. So there is nothing new, but I hope you can find some great ideas yourself. Oh, here I have added them already, little tabs. I just hope that you can find some great ideas or pick up your staplers and your paper cutters and think like, yes, why not? I didn't think about that. And you can see I have different kind of sizes of papers, and that's just what I like to do. Messy, meshy, meshy, meshy. And maybe I like a big one here. That orange paper, I'm in love with that orange paper, and I got it from a friend. It is waxed Nepalese paper. It's actually a little bit transparent. It's funny, it's thicker. I think I might sew it on, or I will staple it on, but I glue it always first a little bit because it tends to move easily. And once I staple it on, it is fixed. And a green one. Sometimes I go over the top. Sometimes too much is more, sometimes less is more. Here I want more. I have these two extensions, but you can as well cut this with a ruler. You don't necessarily need all that. And I want a second one, the orange here. Shall I use this one? Shall I? Or I can even use the tab like this. I don't like it so much there. I prefer more the blue because there is no blue there, so it comes out better. So it's mixing and matching like this. And when you do this, sometimes these are the writings of my grandfather, my parents, that I use all the time. They come back in all my journals. And sometimes this is just enough and nothing more, a few ink marks. And what I will do, I'm gonna take you now to my sewing machine and I'm just gonna add a little bit of sewing, and that's gonna give just an extra dimension. And what am I having here? Oh yeah, I wanted to show you these little tabs. I made these tabs with old ledger paper. Here they are, my ledger paper. Ledger paper, and then the small tabs, and yeah, that's it. And I don't think I went further, and I want something here. Okay, I'm gonna take you to the sewing machine for this one. I want to do something there. So I'm taking here my box with all my leftovers of jelly prints, and I have the impression that this might suit well there because the pink is coming back in the again on the back side. I have cut another little piece of background paper exactly the same size as the front side, and let me glue it down. I decided I want to close this little gap on the bottom side, and I'm gonna just add a little bit more of this paper. Yeah. Page extensions. Little error, I forgot to switch on my video while I was sewing these parts, but I quickly show you what I have done. I have used a straight stitch, and I decided also to combine a little bit the zigzag, and that's what I mean with when you use your own background paper. It's all about the feel, the touch, the layers. So I'm gonna take you now through some slideshow of some pictures throughout my journals with all the little extensions that I have used. And when you make some page extension during these Messy May, please use the hashtag Messy May, the hashtag page extensions, because I'd love to see how you pick up the idea of page extension and what you do with it. And thank you so much for being here. I see you on my screen.